Hello everyone, we are here with Stephen Bernstein. He is the director of Decoding Annie Parker, a very important film that you definitely need to go see. It is our centerpiece film for the Dallas International Film Festival 2013. So Stephen, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you and appreciate this, like I said, very important film.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you're welcome. Your first film as a director, of course you've been in over 200 films, as you were telling me. What was that experience like?
First film as director? It was very different than I imagined it would have been. I've worked in the film industry for 30 years, mostly as a cinematographer, films like Monster, and of course the really important ones like Half-Baked and Waterboy. So I thought I pretty much knew my way around a film set. But it's very different when you decide to direct and write, and then in the end I also produced a lot of the film as well. So different relationship with the actors, different relationship with the crew, different responsibilities, entirely different experience.
So touch on that a little bit, you know. You've been on that side of the camera, and what was now a new dialogue with the actors like for you? What was that?
Well, before, you know, it's kind of easy for a cinematographer in relation with the actors. They love you. They know you're going to make them, or they pretend to love you, I should say, because you can make them look, you can make them look good, or you can make them look, you know, really bad. I remember Charlize saying, "You're my favorite cinematographer for making me look so terrible in Monster," because we wanted her to look terrible, not because I was a bad cinematographer. But now I had to do a series of processes with each actor. Each actor had a different way of working. I had to get them to a particular place so they could fully realize their character and also facilitate our narrative. So Helen Hunt, one of the world's great actresses, Oscar winner, just won another Oscar nomination this year. She was a very intellectual sort of actress. So we'd go over each word, each sentence, each paragraph to come to an understanding of what that section of the film, that section of the narrative was about. Samantha Morton, another Oscar-nominated actor, very different process. Really sort of an intuitive method actor. So to her, it would be more about finding the integrity of the moment. And that was a more visceral or emotional process and less intellectual. So, and each of the other great actors I had, Rashida Jones, Aaron Paul, Corey Stoll, each had a slightly different process, a nuanced process, which I'd have to address and integrate in the way that I would work with them to get them to where I needed them to be, to make the story true, to make it, you know, live on the screen. And that's very different from what a cinematographer does. I love cinematography, I admire cinematographers, but the process of working with actors, very different, and for me, very magical.
Now, another set of directing is what happens after the film is made. You know, you've been on films of all gamuts, you know, studio, independent, everything. What is the festival track been like for you?
Well, again, that's been really interesting. The film was very important to me for personal reasons, but also because I felt it was about something genuinely important. This is a film not just about breast cancer. In fact, in some ways, it's not even about breast cancer. It's about survival. It's about faith. It's about humor and comedy. The film's a very funny film, I think. I tried very hard to make it funny, and the actors were very funny in their performances. It's about those things that allow us to survive catastrophic events. And to do that, we took enormous risks. So when we finished the film, we began rolling it out, we knew there were going to be serious obstacles to getting people to watch it, because people's first reaction would be, oh, it's a film about cancer, I don't want to see it. So we had to get the word out. The film was about something bigger than that, although cancer is a very, very big thing indeed. But it's something about the human condition that we were trying to express. Something that people could actually come and see and feel uplifted by rather than depressed by.
Yes, absolutely. I thought you balanced that very well.
You're very kind, thank you. So we did two things. We're going on the festival circuit so people can see it and we get the word out. And we've been in Palm Beach, and now really our first really big screening is here in Dallas. So for me, very, very exciting. But we're also doing a separate and special rollout. We're combining with 5 charities. And we're having special screenings all around the country. It'll probably be 40 or 50 cities. And in each city, we will show the film and then share the revenues with these special charities. So I think for the first time of any film that I know of, we'll be directing half of our revenue to charities. The American Cancer Society, Shasheret, Force, Cancer Care, Cancer Support Group, all will be getting part of the proceeds depending on which screenings they get involved in. So we hope to raise millions for charity in what we're calling our altruistic window. It'll be about a 6-month period. At the end of the 6 months, then the distributor and the sales agents and all the people that want to get this film out to market will have that opportunity. But first, we're making sure that our film gets seen by people who we think it'll matter to. We're getting our message out via the festivals, and we're having these special screenings so we can benefit the charities doing such important work.
You know, I love that idea. I think it because it just takes film and puts it on a human level, but it also is more than just about film and entertainment. It's about something that's incredibly important, and that's even tearing apart people's lives, as such the case as Annie Parker, where she has 4 people around her die. And it's something that I think is very prevalent and hopefully very well received, because more films need to be doing this, for certain.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think the film has a wonderful sense of belief in, you know, not only what you have a vision for, you know, maybe what your gut is saying to you, but also in yourself and in perseverance and staying the course. I think both of the parallel stories between Marie Claire as well as Annie Parker do that very well.
You're exactly to the heart of the film. The film is exactly about how we maintain, how we persevere in the face of adversity, how we overcome odds that just seem the things that we can never possibly overcome. This is what all of us require, because life is not easy. Life is not meant to be easy. It's meant to be, I think, in my opinion anyway, a series of tests so that we can acquire some wisdom or some peace, one or the other. Or character. And without these tests, we would never evolve as people. Anne Parker was either cursed or blessed or both, in that she had enormous tests put to her that hopefully the majority of us will never have put to us. And she overcame them in some way. And now when you meet her, she's a person of enormous resolve, but also, as you say, rightfully I think, of enormous character.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. And I think that her struggle was also duly paralleled. I think not only did she struggle with the physical element of cancer, but she also struggled with the emotional and social and every other element of beating it. And she beat it 3 times, you know, and now her legacy is not just that she had cancer or that she just beat it, but now it's how she's helping other people in that same vein and going through that very same thing. And now in all of that as well, there is the diagnosed gene that this exists.
Absolutely.
And the
right.
education behind that, the research and everything. And so I applaud this film and all of those who endeavored in it because of what it's pushing forward.
Thank you for that. You know, there's 500,000 women in North America with breast cancer right now, and there'll be 200,000 women who will be newly diagnosed with breast cancer in the coming year. So it's hugely important what we're trying to do. And you talk about the BRCA gene. Mary Claire Kingsworth's BRCA gene was seminal, unbelievably significant. It's changed the way we view all cancer, and she undertook that work also as an act of faith, like Annie did. Yes. 15 years with no one believing what she was saying, no real financial support, but she persevered for those 15 years. And now, coincidentally, by a remarkable bit of either providence or serendipity, the Supreme Court is about to hear the BRCA gene case, where there is someone, a company called Myriad Genetics, who has put a patent on the gene, and they have been charging women who might have a predisposition to breast cancer to be tested. A woman contested this, I believe it was in Virginia, and amazingly she won her first case. It went to the Court of Appeals, and now it's going to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court is going to determine whether we individually own our genes or whether the people who create the mechanisms for the examination of the genes will own those genes. And it's a hugely important case. They hear it on the 15th of April, just in a couple of weeks, and the judgment will come in July. And that case came up about 3 weeks after we first had our first of these special benefit screenings. So it's a remarkable coincidence. hugely important, and every woman in North America should be concerned about it. Every man in North America should be concerned about it, because it's going to affect all of our futures about who controls our genes.
Wow. That is definitely very huge. I don't think there are words for that, you know, how big that is. Well, thank you so much for all of your work and this, as I said before, this endeavor, this mission to help women worldwide even. So everybody, please go see this film. We've mentioned to you before the website, so tell us again where we can find more information about it.
Well, there's a couple of places. We have a Facebook site called Decoding Annie Parker, very simple. We have all the new information about our screenings, information about the film, and information about all our charity partners. And then we have a website, Decoding Annie Parker Film, or The Film, again, where everything is there for everyone to see, phone numbers they can reach, and where the film will be shown. And it's the first 6 months. We'll have special screenings in 40 or 50 cities in North America, and then it'll probably be in general release in October and November.
Wow, great, this is awesome. And one last thing I do want to ask you, one word or a sentence of advice for aspiring filmmakers. What would you say to them?
One word or sentence?
Yeah.
Wow, perseverance.
That's the word. All right, everybody, you heard it. Persevere from Mr. Steven Bernstein. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And take care. Watch the movie, Decoding Annie Parker. It is a beautiful, wonderful film. Pass it on.